Hello folks, I'm Silly Moustache here, and I've got a new toy, so I have to do a little review of it. This is my Eastman E40 00. It's a limited edition commissioned by TFOA, which is the Fellowship of Acoustics based in the Netherlands. It has an Addy top, Adirondack red spruce top, and East Indian rosewood back and sides. Rather nice figure, and I'm starting to expect that sort of figure in the rosewood from Eastman now. There's no sign on this of the heavy nitro finish that we have become accustomed to on Far Eastern instruments. It seems appropriate and professional and well finished, but no more. This one has abalone all over the front, as you can see, around the sound hole, around the end of the fretboard extension, and around all of the top. It has a large white, black white binding around the edge, and that follows through on the neck binding, and quite well matched. That black binding goes underneath the white binding as well. That's really quite a professional piece of work, that. The back has a reverse herringbone, black herringbone purfling there, and a standard kind of a Martin copy backstripe. What else am I going to tell you? Oh yes, it has, of course, the torch inlay. A very important 45 trim level, I think, if we're comparing it to Martin's, and the rather charming snowflake inlays, which is what I would have if I were commissioning it. Bone bridge pins, but they look a little bit basic and they might be replaced by something better. I just had a mirror inside, and I have to say that the internal bracing is immaculate. It's like wooden sculpture in there, and the braces are noticeably thinner than on my Eastman E20P, which I shall bring back into the picture in a moment. So we have a wide grain Addy top, whereas it's a very narrow grain on my E20P, and it's a slightly shallower, smoother profile. It's just about a modified V, but it's halfway between a modified V and a C profile, but it's very pleasant, very comfortable. 24.9 inch short scale, 1 27/32 nut width, so that's in between 1 13/16 and 1 7/8, and the string spacing is 1 11/32, which is in between 2 5/16, as one might expect, and 2 3/8. So all that leads me to think that these things are quite handmade, not made to a standard spec exactly, but consistent in quality. What else was I going to tell you? Oh, the other thing, they come with a little passport which looks like a service book, a car service book, and it's suggested that you take them back to have a service or check-up every 6 months, which I don't think will be achieved, but it's nice to know you have that sort of service and backup from the Fellowship of Acoustics, who were great to deal with, and offer well, just great service. But when I looked inside that service book, I saw that this was checked out, set up to my specs, which happened to coincide with their standard specs, by a gentleman called Adrian Farmer, who I know of from when he worked as a luthier in the south of England in the 80s. They have, it looks, they're Goto tuners, as opposed to ping, I think, on my other Eastman. They're not labelled, these are, but they're perfectly functional, look perfectly okay to me. So there is my new toy. Now, how can I compare this? Well, in 1998, my wife commissioned this guitar for me. It is a Vince Hockey 0028, and despite some initial problems, I'm going to put that on the stand properly because a disaster would be heartbreaking. Yes, it was troublesome, intonation was a problem, and as you see, a rather oversized pyramid bridge. It's the third one that went on. This has significantly heavier bracing. He determined, Vince, when we were deciding to what woods and things like that, he decided that I was a heavy flat picker, so he braced it kind of like a dreadnought, which has not proved problematic. The spruce has darkened beautifully, and it has this interesting shading characteristic which I find very attractive. I don't have a problem with that. But as spruce pale tops darken, backs and sides get paler, at least the bits that see the sunshine, and this has been getting sunshine initially in my lounge, so it got sunshine from the window on the south side, then I moved it up into my office and it got sunshine from the other side, but the back is also a little bit paler, but that's fine. 1 7/8 neck. I had to have the neck reprofiled, which was a bit of a gamble, but it was just too harsh of a V, so a local tech did that excellently and refinished it in, you just wouldn't know, so there's no problems there. This guitar has matured wonderfully. I never really liked the actual body shape of it. It's a little bit more hippie than the Martin spec, bigger hips there, but it is a beautiful sounding guitar. And it is now accurate. It's sustained a little bit of fret wear over the years, but not damage. It has strange sort of shallow headstocks, which are not my preference, but there we are. They work, and they have never been a problem. So that is my 1998 Vince Hockey. The other guitar to make an obvious comparison with would be the Eastman that I bought in 2019, almost a year ago. Thinking about whether to buy a size 0, which is this, and they call it an E20P for parlor, I guess, but it's to all intents and purposes an equivalent to a Martin style O 28. So it has the herringbone trim, unbound neck, and it's perfectly good. It's got the same sort of woods, Adirondack, narrow grain Adirondack top, a very attractive rosewood, same fit and finish really, not too heavy a finish on there. The necks on both of them are not gloss, they're a sort of satin finish, and of course we have these 3-piece necks. There's a separate piece of wood there to there, and a separate piece of wood from the headstock. It's difficult to see, but there is just a slight sleeve in there. There's just a different way of doing things to preserve their wood stocks, and I don't really see that we can complain about that. Actually, I'm not sure that this has the same arrangement. No, it doesn't. So it's a 1-piece wood neck there. Yeah, so that's interesting. That's different. I've only just noticed that. This was a delight straight out of the box. The action was a little bit higher, although the people that I bought it from said they'd set it up. This was bought at a very good price from a very well-respected shop in London that was closing down. Ivor Morant's, and I have no real complaints about it at all. And it is, it's got a little bit of colour in the top now, which is nice, and it's very easy to play. Quite a thick, clumpy neck, which might concern some. No problem for me. The other guitars that I have, yes I do. Yeah, this one, for instance. Oh, these are my smaller guitars, shall we say. I bought this in 2003, so it was my, if you like, it was my second smaller guitar. This is my Collings 0002H, so it's equivalent of a Martin 00028 with standard Martin type trim. It has Waverley headstock tuners on the slotted headstock, and it's a 1 1/13 nut and 2 5/16 string spacing. This is a standard scale, 25.5 in Collings, 25.4 in Martin. This is very, very lightly built, very sensitive to temperature and humidity, but it has Collings' beautiful, round, full, balanced tone. Something else that I bought in 2016 was a quite different thing, more from the influence of Gibson. This is a Waterloo WL12 with a maple back and sides, made plain and rather gaudy, as you see. And it is the ultimate design and tone for a blues. It's strange, it's weird, it's not in this sort of lineup at all, but it's a small bodied, it's effectively a 00, but quite a different characteristic, and I'm rather fond of it. Has a C-type profile, 1 3/4 nut, which is a little bit narrow for me, but 2 3/8 spacing on a short scale, 24 3/4 I believe, but none can compare for blinginess and prettiness with this one. So I'm going to look forward to playing this. And so there we are. There's a review of my E40 00 and its new friends. If you have been, thanks for watching. Bye.